What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of WWE Content. Today I was going to do a podcast episode. I wanted to do one on Tuesday, doing a recap of Raw, but after what happened on Raw with Dominik losing their Continental Champion John Cena, and then some of my predictions didn't go out the way as I planned, with Rusev winning, going to the next round for the Fail World Tour, along with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss losing the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, thanks to the amazing Nia Jax, and of course the Last Legend, who was a legend, of course, in NXT. But today, I am not going to focus on what happened on Monday Night Raw or what happened on NXT or any of that. For me, I want to talk about the late, great Eddie Guerrero, who passed away 20 years ago to this day. 20 years ago, we lost a legend in the business. Eddie Guerrero, he was the coolest guy you could ever see on TV. Lie, cheat, and steal. The lucha lowrider, the hair, the moves, the girls. He had it all. And he had the charisma to be in that ring. Either you loved him or you hate him, but either way, you got to talking about him because he put on one of the most legendary matches you could ever see. From being a kid in Mexico to having a family legacy of the Guerreros, his brother Chavo Guerrero, his father, who was a legendary wrestler in Mexico, to him going into the independent scene and AAA, where he was the Los Gringos with his tag team partner, to moving to the States for ECW with Paul Heyman, and he made the most craziest moves you could ever think of, over the top rope moves, the craziest somersaults, and it was electrifying. To him going to WCW during the Monday Night Wars, where him, Dean Malenko, Rey Mysterio Jr., La Parca, they created and paved the way for luchador wrestling, and they made it so popular in WCW that thanks to Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, and Rey Mysterio Jr., they made a cruiserweight division for WCW at the time. I gotta tell you, watching old WCW clips and PLEs, oh my god, were they a treat. Sometimes I like to rewatch the legendary 1997 Halloween Havoc, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio Jr. for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Watching those guys fight, it was like you couldn't take your eyes off of it, with the crazy moves and the somersaults and the frog splash, Eddie trying to cheat his way in to retain the championship, to him almost tearing the mask off of Rey Mysterio, to Rey Mysterio winning the whole match and beating Eddie Guerrero for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Like, to me, that was probably the coolest match I ever saw on Peacock with the WCW channel. It was incredible. During that time, I started watching more clips of Eddie Guerrero. Of course, after he left WCW and after he created the LWO, trying to make luchadors put on notice for WCW because they had such great talent. He moved to WWF, and then from that point on, he was known as Latino He, where of course him and China, their relationship, oh my god. And I'm pretty sure this was, I think, after D-Generation X was like disbanded or something, but oh my god. Their relationship, it was cool, it was hip, it was funny. Watching their relationship was like watching a soap opera, but with wrestling. It was impeccable, it was incredible. After that, of course, Eddie Guerrero went through bouts of depression. He was, getting hooked on painkillers and alcohol and stuff, which, of course, he was fired from WWE, which then he went to rehab. He got himself together. He pulled himself out of the pit he was digging himself in. Next thing you know, he makes a return to WWF, and from that point on, he was the grandest star of them all on SmackDown. Once he got moved to SmackDown, he was the coolest guy you could ever want to be with. I mean, again, he had the lie, cheat, and steal. He teamed up with his nephew, Chavo Guerrero Jr. They were tag team champions. Everything about Eddie just oozed charisma. It oozed everything you could see in a wrestler, with the mic skills, the ring gear, the moves, the championship towels that he held when he was with the people, like you want to be his best friend. And of course, a specific clip I loved watching was Actually, there's two. One where he was the United States champion and he had a big homecoming welcome in his hometown, El Paso, Texas. Everybody was so excited to see him. Instead of him walking down the ramp of the arena, he went down to the crowd and he was hugging people, giving them a high five. He was wearing their hats, taking pictures with them, signing their signs. I mean, everybody wanted to be friends with this guy. He was just so lovable. He was so friendly, and it was just incredible to see him do that. Then he defied all the odds at No Way Out 2004. He beats Brock Lesnar to become the WW World Heavyweight Champion. People thought he couldn't do it. People thought he was crazy. They didn't think he was going to be championship material. But he proved everybody wrong that night, and he beat Brock Lesnar that night, and he was on cloud nine. When people saw that he won the title, everybody felt like they were a champion that night because he put luchador wrestlers and all Latino wrestlers on the map because of what he did and what he proved to everybody that size does not matter. So the second clip I loved watching was when he won the WWE Championship. Of course, he walks down with the crowd, but they make it a big freaking party for him. They had the confetti and the balloons, and everybody was just having a good time. And it was the colors of the Mexican flag, so everybody was just having a good time. He was high fiving the crowd. He was hugging the kids. He was wearing the sombrero hat this guy had in the stands, and he was just smiling from cheek to cheek. Everybody was screaming, "You deserve it. We love you, Eddie. Viva La Raza." Like everybody was just so happy for him. They were proud of him and they were so lucky to see his title reign of him as the WWE champion. I mean, he went through so many great matches with everybody as WWE champion. I mean, he went to WrestleMania defending the championship against Kurt Angle, an All American wrestler, and he pulled off the odds again, but this time by cheating and the boot method. I mean, that was just incredible. I actually watched the old clip of the wrestling match between Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle. Oh my god, it was incredible. Like the crazy moves, him untying the boot while the ref wasn't looking, and the moment Kurt Angle got him into an ankle lock, Boot gets off, he pins him, holds the ropes against him with his legs, and he wins the whole match. Like, it was incredible. After that, he went through so many rivalries with everybody, it wasn't even funny. And it was just amazing how he made lie, cheating, and stealing funny. Like, everything he did was funny with the Lucha Lowrider, making funny signs on Kurt Angle's pictures. He was driving to arenas with the lowrider, going up and down with the car. He entered the arena with luchador lowriders with Chavo. He did with Rey Mysterio. He did with John Cena. Everybody rode in a lucha lowrider because of Eddie Guerrero, and he made it look so fun and hip. Then, of course, comes in JBL, the most hated villain, the most hated heel, I must say, the most hated heel in WWE, where he was a cowboy rich dude who didn't give a damn about anybody, and honestly, watching those clips, he was the biggest douchebag at the time. And Eddie Guerrero, he made it funny, like with the limousine scene where he's driving and he terrorized the whole limo to shreds, and JBL's covered in champagne and food and all, and he's all dizzy from the ride. I mean, to me, that was pretty funny. Sadly, he lost the title to JBL, but that just made it even better for him in his career because instead of him focusing as a champion, he wanted to uplift the wrestlers. Like JBL, he uplifted him. Batista, he uplifted him. Rey Mysterio himself. He uplifted Rey Mysterio in 2005 of the custody for Dominik Mysterio. Now, everybody remembers that. The most craziest match you could ever think of. The most like like words can't describe what that match meant to Eddie and Ray, and especially Dominic, because he was 8 years old when he got his first, let's say, his first job in the WWE. He was just the kid who found out that Ray wasn't his father, Eddie was his father, and Eddie wanted custody of him, which led to a custody battle match at SummerSlam 2005. Now, I have watched interviews about Ray and Dom talking about that match. Ray, he always gets choked up every time he talks about that match because those were one of the last matches that he had with Eddie Guerrero before he passed away. And I remember watching like instead of watching like the whole PLE Survivor Series 2005, I just skipped to like the Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero ladder match. And oh my god, it was like rewatching the 1997 Halloween Havoc match they had together, but it's for a child for custody papers in a ladder match. Like, these guys did not hold back in that match. They went all in, and of course, that's when the famous Dominik Mysterio made his debut match where he gets into the ring and he's trying to shake the ladder, and Eddie just sees it and he's like, "What are you doing?" And the ladder doesn't even shake. He's trying to shake it, but it doesn't work. Thanks to that little distraction, Rey Mysterio got the upper hand. He won his son back and he got full custody of him. Now, people, they felt bad for Eddie not winning, but at the same time, Eddie, he helped Ray get to that point in his career where he was the main guy. He won his son back, he got his family back, and right now people love Rey Mysterio because of what Eddie did and how he made it look so real, like the custody papers, the bedtime story, what him and Dominic did with that little segment when Dom was a kid and they were at his daycare center and Eddie told Dom, "Do you like bedtime stories?" And that, I thought was a pretty good segment they did. And Eddie being Eddie, he just oozed charisma. And that's what I loved about seeing him in clips like that, because it didn't matter whether he was a good guy or a bad guy, Latino heat, light, cheat, and steal, whatever he was, he made it look so cool and popular, and he made it look so real that, again, he was just one of the best wrestlers that ever lived. But then, November 13th, 2005, we knew, we had the announcement that he passed away from a heart attack. From that point on, the wrestling industry shattered. And the rest in the WWE universe, they were heartbroken. One time I actually saw the tribute that they did after he passed away. It was like, I think, like a Raw. It was a Raw show, and they did a 10 bell salute. Everybody wearing the Eddie Guerrero Latino Heat, Lychee and Steel, I'm Your Boppy shirts, and the look on their faces, I knew that it wasn't for show. Like, they were genuinely upset. They were hurt. And with Rey Mysterio, he lost a brother. Like, him and Eddie go way back to AAA independent work scene where they used to wrestle with each other. They used to wrestle together. They went through so many obstacles in their life to get to where they are. And when Eddie passed, Ray was crushed. Everybody was crushed that night after he found out he passed away. But his legacy still lives on. To this very day, they still live on. I mean, I see people still wearing Latino Heat shirts. I see people, wearing people are dressed up as Eddie Guerrero for Halloween at some points in their life where they're either the Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero or the Lychee and Steel Eddie Guerrero. I mean, I've seen certain wrestlers in their career, they mimic Eddie Guerrero. I mean, the cheating chair method, the boot method, Rey Mysterio paying tribute to him every time he's in the match. When Rey Mysterio won the WWE Championship in 2006 to honor Eddie Guerrero a year after he passed away, I mean, he left a legacy behind that I don't think anybody could understand. Like, he paved the way for cruiserweight wrestlers, luchador wrestlers, basically everything that he did in that business. It was all for the fans. And what I thought was funny was that after, Dominic turned heel, everybody booed him. Like, they didn't care who he was or whatever, they just booed the heck out of him. And the little by little, I see him as Eddie Guerrero from the 90s. I mean, the mullet, he was growing out the mullet. He was with Rhea Ripley. They were, again, like I said in my last couple podcast episodes, they were the Eddie and China of our generation. They were, and the way they were mimicking some points, like how Eddie and China did back in the day, with Dom giving Rhea the rose, them dancing in the ring, um, Dominik following Rhea like a little puppy dog. I think that was pretty cute. And then by a certain point, I think around I think mid 2024, people started liking him. And when he won the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, e- the crowd erupted. And I knew he paid tribute to his dad, he paid tribute to his Uncle Eddie. And then from that point on, people loved Dominik. And then we see Dominik honoring Eddie every other night he was on Raw. I mean, him and AJ Styles, SummerSlam, on his 20-year anniversary. No, wait, no. Yeah, 20-year anniversary when he debuted in 2005 in the custody battle match for him. He honored him and AJ Styles honored Eddie Guerrero that night with AJ Styles doing the Lucha Lowrider, having mimic ring gear of Eddie Guerrero back in 2005, to Dom using the cheating chair method along with the boot method. And then from that point on, we saw him honoring Eddie almost every time he was in the ring, with flaunting the titles, doing the cheating methods that he did. Every time you saw Dominik, it's like you were seeing 90s Eddie Guerrero all over again, or the modern 2000s Eddie Guerrero. It's crazy though. The 20 years ago, we lost a legend. You know, sometimes I keep thinking over in my head, what would the wrestling world be like if Eddie Guerrero was alive today? Like, how would it play out for, him and Dominik, him and Ray, the LWO? Like, of course, he left a great legacy behind with the future luchador wrestlers and the future of the WWE. But what do you think would have happened if he never passed away? Like, what do you think would happen today if he was still alive, and let's say he was doing creative work for NXT, or he was in the writers room, helping out storylines, helping wrestlers help out wrestlers with their charisma, their mic skills, their ring skills. How would he have helped Dominik's career elevate even higher than what it is today? Think about that for a second. Like, what do you think would happen if Eddie Guerrero was still alive today, and how do you think he would have helped the business even better than it was before? Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Well, that's all I have for today, guys. Today we honor the late Eddie Guerrero. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Tomorrow, Friday Night SmackDown, which is going to be another crazy show as always, with the Ilya Dragunov US Open Challenge. Then we go to round two for the John Cena farewell tour tournament. Of course, we um before I forget, my apologies for mixing up my matches. Turns out the Miz and Jey Uso match will happen tomorrow night on Friday Night SmackDown, along with LA Knight and a mystery person we might see on Friday Night SmackDown. Who will it be? We're not sure, but we'll find out tomorrow. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Stay blessed, and I will talk to you guys soon.